Hello. Hi, Sandy. Oh, came on and then I disappeared. Oh, it did not like my integrated camera. That is why. Or my external camera.
Hi Lisa, how are you?
Oh, well, how are you? I know I owe you a email response.
Hi.
Ooh, you're a dolphin fan. I said I know I owe you an email response.
Oh no, we're fine. Thank you for your response because I don't it went to spam. I don't know why. So now I'm checking my spam every day.
Oh, no, that's okay. And I was gonna reach out again anyway.
Mm,
Because I know you're super responsive.
Yeah. I looked at all the cameras and they're all pretty much the same. Um, well, except that Excel. Um,
I'm gonna go for the lowest cost one.
that's what I was thinking. So the prices that's on there is the price right now, right?
Yes, I mean it's probably not gonna change in the next month or so. So if you want to, take your time, you're welcome to. Um, but Janice said, based on her experience, that it could change in like it could change by the end of the year. And it
Okay.
has changed since I initially like looked into it too.
Yeah,
Like
because
it's like a
I think
hundred
it's like
dollars.
$200 more or something like that. But I know I'm going, um, so I might as well lock that price in. I was gonna try to wait until we got back from Spain, but oh
Are you watching football?
no, no. Well, I'm a diehard Dolphin fan,
Y'all
and
don't play till 4.
I know we play the Seahawks, and I'm crying because I know that's not going to be a good look for us, especially with Tua being out. But Mercury Mars, who I'm going to tell my age, I met him long time ago, when the 1972 Dolphins went undefeated
Okay.
through the entire season, the postseason, and the Super Bowl. He was one of the Dolphins, and I met him. He came out like we knew the whole team, and he passed away today,
Oh,
Saturday night, last night. So he was amazing. I mean, oh my God, he was like a Dolphin. So yeah, but oh, I wonder if my dad knows. So, but yeah, so I know I'm gonna go. So I might as well lock it in. My
well,
sister.
we can talk off, offline and go through it because it's even helpful for me to,
Yeah,
get reacclimated because there are so many choices on cruises, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's not like I'm renting a private rental and I'm like, okay, well, I know these are the rooms. Like cruises are.
Absolutely.
So yeah, let's plan something, just the two of us. We
Okay.
can go
Are
through it.
you're coming to do the room Monday, right? Monday or Tuesday?
Let me look at my calendar. We didn't talk whether how that needs to be done, like
That's
in
fine.
person.
No, you just let me know what you need, okay? I'm good.
Okay.
And I may not be on the whole call, but I just wanted to support. So
I appreciate that. And learn about a few new places maybe. Uh, we got new people coming in. Me and Sandy, we were just catching up, talking about this cruise that we are not going to be talking about today on this call, but welcome everyone. Welcome um, Cash, and welcome Janice if you go by Janice. And Sandy, no worries if you can't stay. I'm going to email after we get off all the details so you can by tomorrow, so you can review this at your leisure. But yeah, we'll connect
thank you.
offline.
Thank you.
Well, welcome and thank you for keeping the company, Sandy. This is good timing. Hi, Janice. This is good timing. I do like to just give like a 5-minute grace period. So that was kind of just built in because I was talking to Sandy during that time. A lot of people RSVP for today. I'm not sure if they'll all join us. I did send out my reminder today. I tried to send it out the day before, but I didn't get it to be sent out until today, so maybe things came up for people. But if you are on this, thank you for being here and sharing part of your Sunday. This is recorded to be shared internally, and so if you have to hop off at any time during the call, not to worry. I will send you a link to the video tomorrow so you can review it at your leisure and, share it with a friend if, that you wanted them to hear about these upcoming travel opportunities. But I do like to start information sessions just by doing like a quick introduction around the room. It should go quickly because there are only 4 of us total so far. So we can introduce ourselves, our name. If you want to share your pronouns, no pressure, and where you're calling from. And then later on, I'll ask you some more questions to get to know you a little bit better. So I'll just start that off lead by example. So my name is Lisa. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm calling from Washington, D.C. And clearly I'm your host today.
I'm Janice, pronouns she, her, and I'm calling from Denver.
Welcome, Janice. Thank you for being here.
My name is Cache, pronouns they, them, calling from Philly.
Hey, Cache. I just abbreviated your name. I'm so sorry, Cache. You might not like that nickname. But thank you for receiving that. Welcome. And Sandy, I'm gonna introduce Sandy.
Hi. I'm sorry. So we're doing introductions, right?
Yes.
And I didn't hear you, Lisa, because I was calling my dad about the dolphins. So what are we saying?
We're just a very quick intro, name, pronouns, where you're calling from, and then we'll ask more questions later on.
Okay. My name is Cassandra, but I go by Sandy. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm in Washington, D.C., and I'm a Dolphin fan.
Yes, we can see that. Me who knows little to nothing about sports is, I mean, I'm a Patriots fan because I'm from Boston originally, but I don't really have any idea what's going on with them. But I always get excited when people are excited about, games. So maybe you could teach me something, a thing or two later on, Sandy.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna put Marie on the spot because they just hopped on, and I know Marie personally, so I can do that. Marie, we just did a quick round of introductions before we're gonna start the presentation. Very simple, name, pronouns, if you would like to share, and where you're calling from.
What's up, Lisa? Name Marie, pronoun she, her. You said what? Where I'm calling from?
Yes.
I'm from the Caribbean, but I'm currently in Florida. And what else did you say, Lisa?
That's all. That we just doing it short and sweet for now, and then
okay, that's it.
Yeah, then when I take a break, I'm gonna get to know you all a little bit better when I take a break presenting.
Can I just ask Marie what part of Florida she's calling from?
I'm in Davenport right now.
Okay, I'm born and raised in Miami, and I lived in Orlando. I was just asking.
It's just outside of Orlando.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, cool.
My dolphin shirt? No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Lisa.
No, you're fine, Sandy. I love the connection. And I'm learning because I don't know that much about Florida. Though I do need to visit more because it's definitely warmer than DC. But I'm not hating the cool weather right now. Anyway, let's get into it. Because I respect everyone's time. So I'm going to start the presentation, and because we have 4 places to share at minimum, and I'm trying to be more effective with timing. The last information session, it was great, but it was also almost 2 hours long on like a Wednesday night, and it's Sunday. I don't know what you guys have to do. I might take a nap after this because I've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning. But we're gonna get through these 4 locations within the hour. Then we can, of course, have questions throughout and after, and if there are any places that you are really interested in learning about, I can at least answer questions about if I haven't proactively shared them during this presentation. Okay, so you should see a page that says Lesbifriends Travel in the background with a woman who's in a carnival costume, and there is a flag of Brazil and that she's holding in the background. Does everybody see that? Nod your head.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I just like to make sure because I'm using two monitors and technology always isn't kind. So thanks, Marie, as well. Just want to make sure we're on the same page. So I know a few of you have been on these information sessions before / traveled. So but I'm gonna go over, so I might go over some of the same things, but hopefully a lot of the information you will learn is new because I'm presenting new destinations that we're going to. Okay, so without further ado, I feel like, yes, Janice, you will probably be the only lesbian virgin on this call, but that's okay. You are a welcome addition. Okay, so Lesbifriends Travel, it's my baby, it's my company. I do these information sessions personally because I like to share the background and the history and also just the goals and why I keep doing travel connections and also local events. But the goal of the group and the company is to offer affordable international and domestic travel experiences for queer people of color. And I've had this little shop, if you will, since 2011. It really kind of just landed on my lap because I liked hosting. I didn't really like to go out and be in the club, so I started hosting events in my home, really personable and intimate, and then it grew to an annual winter trip, and then we threw in a summer trip, and then last year we started to travel internationally together. So it's barely been just an organic passion project of mine that has grown, and I'm very happy that a lot of connections have been made throughout the process. So just a little bit of background about who we would potentially be working with. Me in particular, I founded this company. I didn't really plan on it being a company. I'm probably not going to give up my day job as an attorney until I have that student loan forgiveness through the federal government that they've been promising for forever. I'm just going to knock on wood that that's still in place in 5 more years when I'm done doing my stint. My commitment to service. But outside of my day job, I just love traveling, which is why this came very naturally to me to create this group, to create this company. And I do it because I love it. I love the people. I love the connection. I actually enjoy the administrative work and the research as well that is involved with curating travel. Myself personally, I've been to over 50 countries. So I'm pretty well traveled. I think I'm a little bit closer to 60 than 50 now. I've always tried to travel frugally as a young adult. Now I have a little bit more money to spend. So sometimes I'll, ball out on mostly food, not hotels, because I'm still not there. I still don't want to pay like $500, $700 a night for a hotel because I feel like that's crazy. Like that's a whole nother trip I can take. So anyway, I bring all these like personal things that I personally enjoy into the curation portion for group travel. So you literally get me as your travel advisor, if you will, during these curated group travel experiences. However, because we are a group, we are a team. This is not just a dictatorship. I always welcome recommendations. If there's something someone wants to do in a particular country, I will try to do the research, make sure they have that experience. I remember in South Africa earlier this year, there was someone who really wanted to work out like every day. So I made it a point to do research and have options for them to be able to go to gyms and just have that experience if they wanted to, outside of what was just included in the regular itinerary. So yes, we are a team, but don't worry, I got you covered, even if you just want to show up and have the experience. So what you get with Lesbifriends travel, and I'm not saying that other organizations don't offer this, because they definitely do, and I hope that they do and go above and beyond. This is just what I personally like to include. I want to treat people the way I like to be treated. So you're going to get inclusive itineraries. I make sure I vet all the places that we're going to. While there are plenty of places that I would love to go to, some of them just aren't safe. And some of them aren't accepting of queer culture. So I'm not going to take us to certain places. So, but others are more welcoming. And even if we can't be like out with our queer flag and, holding hands and kissing in public, I still want to make sure it's a safe space for us to travel to. And along the way, I will educate the group so that we know the customs and norms, so that when we go into another country, we're respectful. And we can also just, have our bases covered. So we're treating them with kindness as they're treating us with hospitality. I also curate packing lists that are included in your travel guide. These are discussions that we have pre-trip. So hopefully you feel comfortable packing and bringing everything that you need. There's also community connection involved in all of our trips, but also just in general. Before this was a travel group, this was more so a community group that got together bi-monthly. And so outside of, this trip that we might go on together, I still want to make sure there is a sense of community, a sense of connection, and comfort when, you're getting to know one another, and even continuing beyond the travel. So we do pre-trip group chat groups via a platform called WhatsApp, to get acquainted with one another before the trip, but also during the trip. It's a way for everyone to keep in touch. Just, hey, you might be at the next block and someone might need to find you and you only have Wi-Fi. So that's the easiest way to maneuver with that. We also have information sessions specific to the group trip that we're going on before we actually go on that trip, about 30 days before the trip, just so you can get on the same page about the itinerary and go over that travel guide that I mentioned. And even events to build and foster friendships before you might go on a trip or after. It just might be nice to have that reconnection with someone we've had an amazing experience with in the Dominican Republic. If you are a solo traveler and you would like to be matched with a roommate or roommates, we do offer that. Of course, well, as you may know, when you travel outside of the flight, the accommodations are typically the most expensive piece of what you're going to be spending. So I always like to encourage people, if they want to save a little bit, get a roommate. Everybody who comes on, I've never had an issue with people who come on trips. I've been very fortunate over the years. So there's only going to be good people, good energy attracts. So you will be paired with a like-minded person. And I'll take a lot of things into consideration, like what time you like to get up, the room temperature that you like. If you're chatty in the morning, I factor all those into our pre-trip roommate matching survey. We also just in general have continued community events at least 4 times a year. This year we branched out and we went to Atlanta. That was a lot of fun, but I am in the District of Columbia, so a lot of the things that are going on are going to take place here. Janice, if you ever want, you can hop on a flight. I can get you a good hotel recommendation if my Airbnb isn't available. But it's worth the trip. A lot of people came to our appreciation Christmas or holiday party last year. This year we're going to do a Lesbifriends giving. So for those of you who've been on trips, you'll be getting that invite very soon, or who have signed up for trips, so that you can continue to those connections with the people you've met on trips, as well as meet new people who are coming on trips in the future. And then last but not least, I did mention those travel guides. I try to look into everything that people want to know proactively. Food, I have restaurant recommendations. If it's not, most trips aren't all inclusive. We at least take care of breakfast, but you know, you might need to find your own dinner spot. So I try to include walkable places in the itinerary, as well as, you know, queer happenings that are local if you want to experience that. Optional activities when you have free and downtime. I always build those into the travel guide as well. Lots of good content in there to just make your travel as seamless as possible. All right, I'm going to breathe and take a break and ask if there are any questions before I get into this Brazil trip. Okay, I'm doing my job. All right, so the first trip I'm going to present to you, and again, there will be 4, is Brazil. So we're going to Rio de Janeiro for Carnival from February 27th through March 5th and early next year. This is technically our first trip of the year, though there might be a new trip released in January, for January, so be on the lookout for that in an upcoming newsletter. But a lot of people have been asking or expressing interest in Brazil, so it's especially at the time of Carnival. So I did some research, I put together a trip, and now we're going. There are a few people who are already signed up for this trip. It is limited capacity because it's Brazil during Carnival and hotels book up fast. In fact, even though I don't already have a designated amount of people coming, I already had to book the hotels because they just sell out that fast. So, but I'm confident that we will have a nice group of at least 10 people coming to Brazil. So we're well on our way. We are staying in a very nice hotel, a 4-star hotel on the beach and on a very popular, it's a beachfront hotel. It's a very popular area and that is very walkable. You can go to bars, clubs, shops, eateries, but outside of just the area and being on the beach, and we have great rooms with ocean views, a pool if you don't want to if you're not about that salt life, and there's already a fitness center for those of you who are that ambitious traveler who want to work out. Though I think we're going to get our steps in, so don't worry. You will be working out as you are traveling by default. Oh, and then I did mention on this that the rooms are soundproof. That's going to be especially important during this very festive time of the year, because there will be a lot of noise and a good amount of partying potentially. So that's a nice bonus. I do always recommend people bring earplugs, even in roommate situations, but just in case, you know, we will have a very comfortable night's rest because we will not have to experience all that added noise. All right, so I definitely can get into details about anything on the itinerary, and I'll go over it a little bit, go over some things with you. But if you have any follow-up questions or you just want to know if anything more in particular than what I'm saying, then by all means, you can raise your hand or just speak up because we're a small group. So just put it in the group chat. I will see it. Essentially, we're going to arrive in Brazil on our first day. Then we're going to go to everyone's going to get a private transfer from the airport to the hotel. This is a little bit different than some of the trips I've done, like Cache. I know you came to Puerto Rico and we were kind of like, okay, we have to figure out getting from the airport to our villa accommodations on your own. Well, this time around, don't worry, I got you covered. So we'll be picking you up with well, not me personally, but a driver with a sign that has your name on it. I do try to, if people are coming in around the same time, I try to make those introductions ahead of time. and also organize group transport. I'm sure you'll be tired from traveling, but sometimes it's just comforting to like have someone to make that journey with when you're in another country, to the hotel and, get excited and talk about the trip a little bit more. So that's about a 30-minute drive. And then after you get settled into the hotel, we will meet for a welcome dinner where we'll most likely, I like to start off trips on the right foot. So we do introductions so people can meet each other, and we set trip intentions, which can be in different forms. They can be shared or, saved for yourself. But I think it's important I'm trying to create community, but also like give people a very personalized experience. So I want people to hone in on why they're here, why they're doing this experience with a group, as a solo traveler, or potentially, knowing someone who's coming on a group and wants to experience what they're having. This will be a 3-course meal, with Brazilian cuisine, which is very flavorful. So don't eat too much on that flight. Make sure you come hungry. Or you can take your food to go. I'm very excited about this welcome dinner. It's gonna be great. So we're gonna let you get a little bit of rest. Unless you want to go out, you are welcome to go out and get your life the first day you get there. But I might be turning in a little bit early so I can get up for breakfast at the hotel and get ready for our full day tour of Rio. So some of the highlights that we're going to experience are Christ the Redeemer and Sugarloaf Mountain. And these are some of Rio's most iconic landmarks. So Christ the Redeemer is a 98-foot statue of Jesus Christ overlooking the city, which you can see right here in the middle, lower half of the screen. And it's a welcome spirit of both Rio and Brazil, that was commissioned by a local Catholic group in 1920. So it's a mixture of history, but also just welcoming us to the country. And then we are also going to go to a neighborhood called Urca, which is at the mouth of Garabara Bay. We'll be able to take a cable car up to Sugarloaf Mountain. This is a 1,300-foot mountain peak, and it has the best views of Rio, and a lot of Brazil. So another iconic landmark that we will get to experience. And we'll be in transport for a while, so that will be a full day tour. And then day 3, another delicious breakfast at the airport. Excuse me, at the hotel. We're not going to be going back to the airport for a few days. My apologies. And then you'll have somewhat of a leisurely day. Definitely sleep in, take a nap, maybe have some beach time because we will be staying on the beach. I do have optional activities that I recommend ahead of time. I also am working on actively building out like trip lists via Viator and Get Your Guide. So if you don't want to commit to something ahead of time, at least you have some ideas when you get there of things you can do. And you can book the day before if you want, but also you can just go with the flow and literally, again, just stroll the streets, hang out on the beach. And why this is a leisurely day is because at nighttime, we are going to go to Carnival. This is going to be our Carnival experience. As a group, people can experience it at other times if they want, but it doesn't start till the night. So we're going to go to, so Carnival is a period of popular festivities during the day and night. But a lot of the big showy things happen at night. So the celebration occurs every year, February or March, beginning on Saturday and extending until Mardi Gras Tuesday. We're going to see some dancing. If people want, they can dress up. You cannot be in the parade with the showgirls because they prep and have choreographed routines for months, if not a year. I mean, you can get in until you get kicked out, but it's not like a traditional like Caribbean island carnival where you can play mas with the band. Like you can, again, definitely dress up, but you're not going to know their routines because we're not there prepping for months in advance. But we're still going to party and have a great time. The presentation begins around 9 and will end around 3 a.m. So again, that's why I'm going to be taking a nap during the day. Day 4, this is a free day to explore. I imagine some people are going to want to sleep in. Some of the optional activities that I vetted and researched were a half day, about a 4-hour tour of Two Brothers Peak and a favela, which is their local neighborhoods that you see in all these pictures. They're very colorful. So you'll get a very personalized experience going into neighborhoods where typically people are not tourists like us are not ushered into. So this will be a very unique experience, and we'll begin walking along the seaside. Our tour guide will share some history. We'll hop in a van and ride along some hillsides. And just really take in the beautiful scenery, but also, get to meet the local people and have conversations as well. Excuse me. Another option is a half day for a Payuca forest. Excuse me. Which is, as you can imagine, you're going to be one with nature for half of the day. You'll visit some mountain slopes, you'll do some hiking with an English-speaking guide. You'll observe some diverse flora that's unique to Brazil, and go to their national park forest as well. And then there's also a bar hopping experience as an optional add-on. That's probably the one I'll do because I'll be sleeping all day. But yes, plenty to do on day 4. Day 5, we will have a full day tour where we get to do some walking, but it's not all walking, don't worry. We get to take breaks. And we'll go with the local and we'll do a queer walking tour. So part of the reason I wanted to take people to Brazil is because Brazil is very welcoming. It's also very queer. I went there in 2004 with Semester at Sea, and I even remember like 20 years ago, like how, they were flamboyant people on the street. It was just like very welcoming, and like people had no shame. So I love that about Brazil. I feel like they're ahead of the time. And so it just makes sense to do a queer walking tour that highlights art, history, culture, some influential LGBTQ people in socially vulnerable situations. I will also learn about their plight, a lot of transgendered folks, as well as developers programs and activities that focus on the autonomy and culture of the residents who live there. They do offer a lot of workshops and courses, which is great. They're always like very supportive of their community, and we'll get to see a little bit of Little Africa, as they call it, as we explore Afro-Brazilian history, music, culture, and cuisine. Okay. And then last but not least, the day 6 is another leisure day. I'm trying to balance things out, not make everything go, go, go. So you can do things as you wish. Again, more optional tours that I've built in if you would like to spend that day, or you can just have a leisurely beach day. Sometimes we just organize when we get there, when there is this free time to be built in, so you'll organically connect with the people on the trip. We will have an organized farewell dinner and game night that's included, probably with some awards. I do like to do superlatives on group trips when the time allows, so that will be a fun event too. And day 7, unfortunately, we'll have to say our goodbyes and leave Brazil unless you extend your stay a little bit. Yeah, but without further ado, I'll leave the last 2 slides before I take a break and learn a little bit more about you. So just so you know what's included, I've shared a lot of information with you. This is just overarching, like on trips in general. So on all Lesbifriends trips, the accommodations are included, as well as daily breakfasts. Some lunches and some dinners based on the itinerary are also included. activities and excursions that are detailed in the itinerary that are already included in what you're paying for. There are optional activities that are available for during your free time, which would be at an additional cost for you. You always have we are building community, so you're gonna connect with like-minded queer people of color. I try to curate a swag bag particular for that area that we're going to, as well as a curated travel guide and an on-the-ground travel team to ensure you have an amazing time. Not included are transportation to and from the destination, so you have to get yourself there, get yourself home, but I get you while you're there. Meals not mentioned, travel insurance, which I highly recommend, even if it's not through my recommended source. Sometimes credit cards, your credit card, if you pay for the trip using your credit card, there is built-in travel insurance. You just have to make sure you pay for your entire trip using that source. But look into that because it's definitely a bonus. You don't have to pay extra. Personal purchases, we're not going to pay for your souvenirs, but leave room in your bag and budget for that. And any additional personal activities would be at your own cost. And then if you were interested in coming on this trip, the triple occupancy, so the hotel, as you can imagine, it's Carnival. The hotel is literally 3 times as much as it would be during any other time of the year. So that's what all of the money is going towards on this trip. But it's a really nice hotel in a great area. So know that you are, you're getting a really good experience and you're going to be safe and comfortable. So there are rooms that offer triple occupancy. So that would be 1 double bed with 2 people sharing it, and then 1 single bed with an individual. And it'll save you a little bit of money, not a ton, but some. If you just want to share the room with 1 other person, spread out a little bit, that double occupancy would be $3,600. And if you want to ball out on your own room, which I can't even afford, you can pay $4,900 for a single occupancy. All of the travel, I do set people up on an automatic monthly payment plan, which you get a confirmation email, and you're reading the disclosure, so you know about this before you actually click book. However, everything's flexible. So if you want to change that to not be automatic and you just want to make manual payments, you are welcome to. I can also change the payments to bi-weekly or even weekly. I've had someone request that before. That this is just to gauge how much you would be paying if you signed up like within the next couple of weeks. This is what the price point would be if you were on a bi-weekly or monthly payment program. All right, you are welcome to speak, Cache. The floor is yours.
Yeah, this is something I've been meaning to ask. How do you do it if like a couple comes and wants to get like that's the solo room? Like how does the payment work on that?
Well, all prices are per person. So if you did come as a couple, that would be considered a double occupancy. And so essentially your payments are going towards whether you come alone or come coupled, like that is configured based on like a portion of that goes to the room, a portion of that goes to the activities, like transportation and food. So if you did sign up with someone else, you would still end up paying $3,600 each. As a repeat traveler, Cache, you would get, a special incentive, but also you would potentially be referring someone. So you would also get that incentive, like essentially a discount for referring them or, a portion of your trip credited, as a thank you for referring someone. And just really quickly off the top of my head, it's $25 cash referral, $50 for domestic trip, and then $150 for international trip. So that would be another discount you take off of the trip by being a repeat traveler, in addition to the incentive for being a repeat traveler. So for referring someone, you get that, and then you get a repeat traveler discount, if you will. But your starting point would be the $3,600 per person. And then if you could sign up together on the same reservation, and you could you could either each sign up individually or you can sign up together. If you sign up to get, I believe if you sign up individually, you can each put in your, if you sign up together, you can still put in your individual credit card or bank information. Whether you sign up individually or as one reservation with 2 bookings under the 1 reservation. So it's very flexible.
Okay, thank you. And I guess I'm wondering a bit more about like logistically for the room request. Like, how do you ensure that there's like 1 bed instead of 2 beds?
Oh, well, now I've updated my registration, so I literally.
Oh, okay.
I literally ask now if you sign up with a roommate, that you know to, I mean, because if you sign up for a double occupancy without a roommate preference, I'm just gonna automatically put you in a room with 2 beds. But if you sign up with a roommate, like if you put that in the preference, I ask that you let me know in the notes, in the additional information area, whether you prefer 1 or 2 beds.
Perfect. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, any other questions about Brazil? All right, let's take that off the screen. Those numbers make me anxious sometimes. We have one more new person who joined us, unless it's just someone already on the call who joined from their iPhone again. And so, that person who's on the iPhone, that's all I can see. Oh, yes, okay, that person who's on the iPhone. We just did a quick welcome, thank you for being here. We did a quick round of introductions. And so you missed the introductions, but that's okay, because you can still introduce yourself. But in addition to introducing yourself, because we're gonna go around again, because I also like to just learn about the people who might be traveling with the group. Just to gauge like who you are, but also like what your interests are. So I'm gonna ask an additional question. So iPhone user, if you are available to mute yourself, if you wouldn't mind sharing your name, pronouns, and where you're calling from. And then this is the last part is for everyone. I would like to know, where is one place, I know you have a list of 80 because my list is double that. Where is one place that is on your bucket list of places you'd like to go? And then what is something that you enjoy doing when you're traveling? I'll go first, right? So Singapore is on my wish list, really quick. Probably because of the food. And then, something I enjoy doing when I'm traveling is either like a walking food tour where I can combine culture and just like, I like to taste everything. I'm a little foodie, or a cooking class because I feel like I can go to a market, learn about that experience, but also like then go to a kitchen or someone's house and also just like get to cook the food. And that's like just a built-in souvenir for me, like in my head, in my heart. So iPhone user, if you don't want to go first, we'll come back to you, but we can ask for a volunteer to go next.
Lisa, do you mind putting that prompt in the chat?
No, I don't. Sorry, I should already have this
Thank you.
typed up. Sometimes I just do it off the top of my head. Okay, where do I know that's a lot. And hello, Tony Jones. Welcome to the meeting. And I know there's someone who's gonna volunteer because they already have their list.
I'll volunteer. There's nothing in the chat, but you guys actually went to my dream destination last year. I just wasn't able to go, which is Bali. Bali, I don't know. But I've always just wanted to go there, and it just looks so beautiful and everything. But I wasn't able to go, so hopefully maybe the next time you guys go, I can go on that trip. I don't know what else you asked because it's not in the chat. So
I am sorry, I didn't realize I was direct messaging meeting IA notes. Again, user error. I'm sorry. I'm just copying and pasting from I guess I was just communicating to my AI chat. All right, I put it back in the chat.
okay, okay. What activity would I like to do when I travel? Um, I really don't have a specific activity. I think I'm just excited just to share with everybody, meet everybody, and I'm grateful that you do put other activities in that we can do in the on the list. So I don't know, just experience new things and anything with food. I'm a foodie, absolute foodie. So although my palate isn't that advanced, but I do, I do like just um experiencing the, I never want to travel and eat somewhere that I can eat at home. Like that's just not gonna happen. But anyway, that's me. I'm Sandy.
Thank you, Sandy. And if you don't want to say it, you are welcome to put it in the chat, the group chat.
I can go.
Thank you, Tasha.
My name is Cache, pronouns they, them, calling from Philly. One place that I still want to go is Iceland. Pretty bad, actually. And something I like to do is anything involving food, beach, swimming, more food, culture. I like to do it all. I don't like to be a tourist. I like to get to know the people, and that's something I really do like to do. Check.
Thank you. Good list. Any other volunteers?
I'm Tony Jones. I'm from the DMV, and I'm interested in going to Morocco. That's been on my bucket list, Bali, and I'm a foodie, and I also I enjoy the sights, but I like the culture to kind of do the off-site kind of thing, so you can really kind of delve into the culture. Like, I don't want to go to the restaurants that are near all the sites. I want to do more where the locals go. And that's it.
Thank you, Tony. Janice, you next. You're muted.
I'm sorry, Lisa. I have to sign off. Thank
Sorry
you,
about
guys.
Bye, Sandy.
Bye bye.
See you.
Sorry, Janice.
No, that's okay. I'm one of two people showing my face, so you guys can see me. I'd like to travel to South Africa, and I really like to do some kind of activity. I love food. I love learning about the culture. I'm not a big museum person. That's not really my thing, but taking a walk or a bike tour or something like that is high on my list of things that I'd like to do. Or like in the Amazon, I did like a canoe trip through the Amazon, which was kind of fun, rafting trip. So things like that.
Nice. Thank you. All right, we have Maria and iPhone. No pressure. All right, y'all, we'll circle back around for y'all. And in the interim, I will start getting into Nicaragua. I'm a little bit long-winded, so even though I say I wanted to be done by, I wanted to have all these presented in the hour. I'm sorry, we're gonna go a little bit over, which is fine, because technically, we hopefully budgeted for this. So we're going to Nicaragua, March 20th through 25th. This is technically our second trip of the year, though I did allude to there being a January trip that just hasn't been released yet. The reason why we're going to Nicaragua, well, it's a cool place that I don't think a lot of people get to experience. I just want to make sure everybody can see the Nicaragua slides, correct? Thumbs up, me, if you can. If not, if you can't, okay, thank you, Tony. I saw the thumbs up, we're good to go. So part of the reason is because this is a place that not a lot of, I do not think I know anybody who's been to Nicaragua. And I probably was just scrolling on Instagram one day and I saw this really cool space that was owned, operated by queer women of color. I believe one of them lives in New York part-time. But I was just like, this is such a cool space. There's a lot of healing that I've heard that goes on in Nicaragua, a lot of native influence. And so I was just like, this could be a really cool opportunity for a different type of a trip. So essentially, there are wellness components on Lesbifriends trips, but this is probably going to be a little bit more, and all trips have some sort of cultural immersion. I do think that's important. Of course, it's nice to be a tourist, and when you go to Rome, you want to go to the Colosseum, right? But I also think, if people want to talk to the locals, go make some pizza or go to a pasta or gelato making class, have that cultural, those experiences that not everybody gets to partake in. So Nicaragua in particular will be one where we get to experience more wellness activities than maybe on typical trips, but also the fact that, we will be led by some queer people of color who relocated there from the States and just really want to offer this safe space and a lot of different wellness activities. Essentially, that's what this trip is. So we are staying at what is called the Apogeo Guest House. And originally their guest house was only 3 or 4 bedrooms. And since I've been in communication with them since earlier this year, they've expanded. So they also have this is their main house, and then they also have another house which is within a few minutes walking distance away. Both of the houses are beautiful, have really great amenities. Each of them have pools. One of the house, so basically we are renting out their entire retreat space for this trip. And one of the houses has one of the houses will be up where all the meals take place. And so that's where they're serving our breakfast and any group meals that are included in the itinerary that they're supplying. But then there's also another house, again, they're just a few minutes walk away, where if you do like to, just do your own thing, you want to scramble up your own, you like your eggs a particular way, they're not making them how you want them with that runny egg, you can still have access to a kitchen in that space for whatever you need to do. They offer a lot of great amenities. When we arrive in Nicaragua, we are going to, after we check in and get settled, we're doing and do our inclusive intro and trip intentions. We are going to do a sacred cacao ceremony with body movement. That will also include some intention setting as well. That's a very unique experience to Nicaragua. And then we will also have a welcome dinner at the main guest house, which will be very beautiful and welcoming, and we'll get to know each other a little bit better. On day 2, which is a Friday, we are going to take a day trip to Apoyo Lagoon, where we will have we will get to experience some of the local culture and as well as some water, in the natural body of water. We'll get to swim, rest, as well as have some really good local food in this natural environment. On day 3, there are scuba lessons that are available ahead of time, but there are also things that different types of water sports that we can experience when we get there. You are not the only one, Cache. I know a few people who know these people. They're pretty cool people. The people who own this space, put together this space for the queer community. So day 3, we're gonna have breakfast. They call it a Nika breakfast, and so but I've added on like protein for everyone because it's like a light, local, customary breakfast. But I've added on protein, and for those of us who like coffee and tea, you have all the breakfast options that you want to. Then we're gonna take a day trip to Grenada, with a boat ride, and with options to have lunch and dinner on site as well. Then when we get back to our villas, we're gonna do our retreat space. We're gonna do some beachfront yoga, which would be really nice after being on the being on the water and in town throughout the day. This picture right here is actually from their retreat space. It's very beautiful, very serene, very picturesque. So in addition, we're going to be doing some things in local culture, but we definitely have a home space that we can come back to and relax and just have our own time. I know that there are past participants on this call who have been on in a retreat type of environment. It's nice it's great to stay at a hotel, right? But there's something different when you have your own space. Because we can come back and we can go skinny dipping in the pool if we want, or we don't have to get any tan marks if you want to lay out around the pool or wherever. But it's just nice just to have our own space. Anywho, on day 4, we're gonna have breakfast, and we're gonna do a deep stretching class. And we're going to do a half-day catamaran boat trip. As you can see, there's a lot of water on this trip. But I feel like that's also healing. Water can be healing. And we're going to get to interact with the local culture as well on these different tours. So included in our catamaran ride, which is included is we get options of beer, juice, of course, water, fresh fruit, snacks, and fresh hot sashimi is included. And then we will get dropped off by the pier. So if for those of us who want, we can, just explore a little bit, have a little bit of the nightlife before returning to the villa for our last full day, where we'll do a morning pages workshop before breakfast. We'll have some free time to explore. Some of the add-on things that I've looked into ahead of time are a massage. You can have this done in your room or somewhere located at the property. There's also a visit to Monbachil volcano, as well as private body surf lessons. And then we will meet as a group to have a farewell dinner before we say our goodbyes on day 6. I'm just going to brush over this page because we've already reviewed it on another trip, what's included, what's not included. Tony, I don't know if you made it before I did this, but you'll see this during the recap. This trip for double occupancy starts at $1,750 or more, just depending on the room that you choose. Single occupancy, if you want your own room in this beautiful retreat space, it starts at $26.50. Some of the rooms are, you know, a little bit more spacious than others, so I did want to set a specific value to that. And if you did start today, this is the price you would be paying for a biweekly or a monthly payment plan, super affordable, to get, to be included on this trip. This trip does have limited capacity as well, like Brazil. When we run out of rooms, that is all she wrote. So I believe there are a total of 8 rooms, 8 or 9 rooms, and 3 of them are already booked. So this is well on its way to being full, but still opportunities to get in if anyone is interested. Are there any questions about Nicaragua? All right, good. We can keep it going if that's okay. And that's okay if there are questions, and we can also ask later, but I'm trying to be timely. So I will get into Italy and then Bali, and then ask any final questions before we conclude the information session. Okay, back to sharing my screen. And just so you know, I know some of you mentioned learning about specific trips. Unfortunately, I have so many trips. I'm excited. There's so many trips, which is great. So there's just not enough time to present them all during every information session, but I am offering about, I want to say like maybe 8 or so more information sessions before the end of the year. And I'm trying to include, well, I am going to include each place that I'm presenting in the information session. Even if you can't make the information session, but you are still interested in learning about the area in this setting, please just sign up. I will still email you the wrap-up email with the link so you can watch it at your leisure. Also, I work from home, so I'm pretty flexible. If you just want to give me a call or schedule some time with me to do this one-on-one, we can definitely go through the itinerary, and I can answer any questions that you may have. Okay, but without further ado, let's talk about Italy. So we're going to Venice and Florence, in Italy. I've been wavering between like, what is the perfect amount of days that, you know, these trips should be. And so I definitely had an 11-day Italy option, but when I was chatting with people, they were just like, I can't take 11 days off of work, plus the travel time involved. So I'm really trying to just do a happy medium of certain trips. Some places, like when we go to Asia, of course, it takes 2 whole days to get there, so they might be a little bit longer. But I'm also just open to feedback, or also potentially coming up with like a bonus tail end of a trip if someone is interested in that experience. No worries, Cache. I don't know if Cache is still on, but they said they had to hop off. So just, you know, I welcome feedback. I'm open to suggestions and all that jazz. Okay, but anyway, we're going to Italy for 7 beautiful days in May. The weather's going to be great. And as always, I don't know about you, but I'm learning, like, I thought certain Asian cuisines were my favorite, but I'm definitely learning that, no, Italian is definitely high up there. Might be one of the top 2. So we're staying in a beautiful hotel in Venice, and then a very authentic to, so we're staying in boutique hotels in both of these places. For those who have traveled to Europe, when you go to Europe, like, not that they don't have the Marriotts and the big chain hotels, but you're just gonna get a different type of experience when you are in like the architecture, the service, when you're in a smaller boutique type of hotel. And then it's also going to be located like with the locals, so you'll also be able to engage with them, both have more local cuisine than the more popular things that you can find on Yelp and Google. So I'm excited about both of these locations as well. Okay. And I do have hotels, just so you know, sometimes I do share hotels ahead of time. I'm definitely, when you book, I definitely will share those locations. But sometimes things change, so even if we do it, like, let's say, for example, I booked all of I built out my current Portugal and Spain trip, which is happening next month in October, and I had all the hotels picked out like a year in advance almost. Then I go to book like 3 months in advance, and 2 of them are sold out. So I have to literally pick new hotels because they're smaller, they're boutique, they might only have like 20 rooms. And so sometimes I just don't want to, my hopes up. I don't want to get my hopes up, but I don't want people to get married to this idea that we're staying in this particular hotel. If anything, the hotel is going to be comparable. So if I say we're staying in 4-star hotels, we're staying in 4-star hotels. It's just going to be a different hotel, or same like 5-star hotels. Typically we will like, I love luxury, but I want to still have something that's cost effective. So if we stay in a 5-star hotel, it'll probably be in Asia, because that's much more affordable than a 5-star hotel in Europe. Which, might start at $600 a night. So, but just to preface that, to just give people background. Okay, the itinerary. So when we go to Italy, we're gonna start in Venice, which, as you might know, is on the water. Beautiful location. And we're gonna be there for half of the time. On day when we arrive, you're gonna get picked up by a private water taxi transport. How cool is that? Like, I want to be picked up on the water, but anyway. So we'll get a private water taxi to take us from the airport to our accommodation. And so literally it's a tour on the way through the Venetian canals, as we go under bridges and by impressive buildings on the way to our hotel. We'll get settled. You might want to do some self-exploring before our welcome dinner, where we will traditionally, as Lesbifriends do, set intentions and do introductions to meet and greet each other on the first day that we're there. And the welcome dinner that we have is going to be a canal side restaurant. Even if you come alone, doesn't mean you can't experience romance. I want romance for myself, so this will be definitely a very romantic setting as we do our welcome dinner the first night that we're there. Our second day, after we get some rest, we are going to do a 2-hour LGBTQ friendly private Venice walking tour. So this will be a tour dedicated to the history of homosexuality during forgive me if I butcher this, but I have to practice, Serenissima period. I don't even know why I got that little accent or inflection, but it might come out. We're in Italy. So we're gonna get some history. I don't think all places that we can go to are as fortunate enough to have, specific LGBTQ things. And we're queer, like, by design, so we don't necessarily need to be queer in Italy, but I just thought this was a really cool thing that we could experience to learn a little bit more about their culture, and the gay and the LGBTQ friendly community in Italy, or in Venice. We will also do a guided visit to Doge's Palace and St. Mark's Basilica. Oh, I don't know if yes, Janice is still here. I just had to extend my screen. Janice, I'm not a museum person either. I probably am even less of like a church person, but there's just something like kind of cool about going to a really historical church, even a museum in Europe. So we're gonna stop by there. We're gonna go to the Basilica, St. Mark's Basilica. And get a little bit of some art and some history, but don't worry, this is 2.5 hours total, so we're not going to be there all day, because I would be bored to death. Okay, day 3 if you want, if you are the museum and church person, you can go back and do whatever you want on day 3, because that's kind of going to be your day to explore Venice. Some of the things that I would recommend doing there, and again, I share these in the travel guide, but you can explore some art. I have like at least 6 museums that I would recommend. There's an island called San Giorgio's Maggiore that I would recommend that you can go to off the beaten path from the main canals, and have a couple hours to experience that. You can see an opera show at Teatro Le Fenice. And there's also a market where you can do some haggling, get you some good deals. You can even do some luxury shopping. I'm gonna invest all my money in trips, not purses, but for those of you who want to come back with a nice bag or whatever, you can. You can even rent a kayak and explore the Venice water yourself. Okay. Oh, and there's also an optional glass blowing demonstration that you can take part of, or a gondola ride that I have in the travel guide. After day 3, we are going to take a train ride to Florence. I love taking trains in Europe. Like, it's very cost effective to fly. Typically, luggage is more expensive to check than your actual seat on the plane. But there's just something about like taking in, the countryside, all the history on a train ride. So we're gonna enjoy a comfortable high-speed train ride from Venice to Florence. It takes about 2 hours and 15 minutes, and we get premium class seating. Also, we would spend that much time just waiting on a flight, so I feel like bonus, get to be in the comfort of a train. And yes, so, and then when we make our way to Florence, then we will check in and do some self-guided walking around, getting acquainted with our hotel. And we are literally going to be steps away from the city center of Florence. It's very small and easy to walk around. We can go to Duomo, Piazza del Signore, and Loggia dei Lendi. Anyway, all these things are Googleable. I don't even know what all of them look like, to be honest. I just remember they came up when I was picking the hotel as being walking distance away. And then we can, of course, after exploring, ourselves, then as the group, we will go on a queer exploring of some of the masterpieces, like again, more art. Sorry, Janice. But there's something about seeing Michelangelo in Italy. So as well as some iconic pieces like David in prisons, all from a queer perspective, because a lot of this art is super gay, if you didn't know that already. So we'll take in some queer art during a guided tour before we get to go back to the hotel and relax. Day 5 will be a free day after breakfast. There's plenty to do where you can just stroll, go to gardens, go to, there's an area off the Arno River called Piazzelli Michelangelo, which is a panoramic view of the city. So we can explore that at our leisure. We can see some more artwork in a gallery, the Uffizi Gallery, which has one of the world's most famous museums. So yeah, lots of history and culture to experience when we get to Florence. During our free day. Some optional things, we could do a wine tasting in addition to a full day tour right outside of Florence. There's plenty of tours. We can go up the coast as well into a local fishing village and have that experience. But there's something for everyone, I will say. On day 6, our last full day, we're going to go to a leatherworking workshop, which we get to create our own belt. I mean, we can't use a belt. And I think leather is like one of the most popular things people take home with them when they go to Italy. I just had a friend come back from Italy with a bag. A belt is probably, the belt is included, but I can't even imagine how much she spent for this bag. And because I love a class, we're gonna also do a cooking class, so we get to learn and take home one of the best things ever, which is just the, learning and the option to recreate that recipe and impress our friends and family when we get home. And of course, that will be our farewell dinner. And then on our last day, we're gonna say our goodbyes and farewells. And probably figure out when the next time we can get to Italy is, because that food. Okay. We're gonna skip over this page because we've already been through it. Italy it starts at 3,700. We're staying in really nice amenities. So unfortunately, that's where most of the money is going, but it'll be well worth it because I don't know who's going to Italy multiple times. That's probably like a one and done for me. For payment plans, they start at 257 or 515, depending on where you are. I also offer a 10% discount if you do want to pay in full. You want to get your credit card points up front. You can just take $370 off your trip initially. So that's also an option. Okay. Let me stop sharing my screen and just ask if there are any questions before we get into Bali. And you're not making me feel bad if there aren't questions, just so you know. But also I'm happy to answer questions. Okay. Okay, last but not least, so I could be timely with everyone. And then maybe we'll do one more round of icebreakers. We're going to Bali. I know that some people were interested in Bali last year, or this year rather. I went on this trip in June. It was an amazing experience. It took 3 days for me to get there and 2 days to get back. It was exhausting in addition to being there for 10 days, but it was worth every moment. I could live in Bali. It is beautiful. And these are pictures that we actually took on the trip. I love when I can actually utilize, Bali's a trip that we'll do again and again. The reason why we're going in June, it was just, it's right before peak tourist season where things get really expensive. Also, the state allows for educators who might want to come. Because summer is the most popular time, it's just more expensive and just, if you're a teacher or an administrator, you might be able to get in there just in time without paying, a couple more $1,000. So still very cost effective around this time. Beautiful weather, beautiful people. I do want to explore other parts of Indonesia, but this is good and faithful. I promise you, there's two people who are already signed up for this trip who came on the previous trip. And we're doing some of the same things, but we're doing different things too. So we are staying in luxury accommodations in both Ubud and Seminyak, two very comfortable and a little bit popular. Like there are places that we can definitely stay like in the jungle, right? Where you ain't gonna interact with nobody except who lives there. But Bali's that type of place where you're going to be in a serene oasis no matter where you're staying. So I wanted to put us in two of the areas where, and I'm sorry, this is a little bit of a typo. We're staying there from June 12th through the 18th. But I wanted to put us in places where it's very walkable. You can like literally leave the hotel and it's very safe. Well, Bali's safe in general, but it's just amenities everywhere. Like you can walk out of this hotel that we're staying in and get a massage. There's 5 different massage places within like a 2-block radius. And the massages are going to be like $10 to $20 for an hour. So just know that in Bali, once you get yourself there, the plane ticket's going to cost a lot, but once you get there, everything else is very affordable. So you can eat like a king, queen, for little to no money. Yes, most of our costs are going to transportation and accommodations, just like with most places. So when we get to Bali, you're gonna get a private airport transfer. I like to set expectations because now that I've been to Bali and I know what it is, I can tell people. So if you are told that it's gonna take you an hour to get from the airport to the hotel, it's probably gonna take you 2 hours because they only have one lane in Bali and a lot of streets are closed. And there's just a lot of traffic. So just, make sure your AirPods are charged. Getting places definitely takes time in Bali, but it's worth it. So worth it when you get there. We are going to do a welcome dinner after we get settled in our luxury hotel, which includes Balinese dancers and a music performance. Also, you might get invited to learn a Balinese dance and be part of the show as well. That is a really nice option for those of us who are a little bit more adventurous and might be a little extroverted or just want to have a different type of cultural experience. On day 2, because you are going to not want to be on a 10-hour tour rather, you're going to you can have a leisurely breakfast. I'm not going to make you get up at the butt crack of dawn like I'm learning. These are learning lessons. I did that to the last group. I'm sorry, last group. We had like a 10-hour tour the first day or the first full day. Don't worry, sleep in, rest, because you've been traveling for 2 whole days. Now you can have a leisurely breakfast, and then we can spend a couple hours in the sacred monkey sanctuary forest where monkeys will literally come sit on your lap. They might take your water bottle. They might take your hat. You're not supposed to look them in the eye. I don't really remember what that is about, but that's you don't want to have beef with a monkey, so just don't look them directly. But it's such a cool experience. It's very safe. And it's just cool because you'll see like hundreds of monkeys like while you're walking and other things like reptiles and birds, and it's just a beautiful oasis to leisurely experience the first full day that we're there. There's going to be so many places we can walk to and eat dinner at. I probably didn't take advantage of as many places this past June. I ate a lot at the hotel because the hotel was just cheap. It was cheap and they had good stuff. But I'm going to encourage people to try different restaurants and places around the hotel as well. Day 3, we're going to have breakfast. It's like a full buffet spread, but they also do things made to order like omelets, French toast, stuff like that. So whatever you can think of, you probably get full during breakfast. During the morning/afternoon, we're going to go off site and we're going to go make an offering. And we're going to also experience a dance lesson. Bali is it's a very spiritual place, and you will see literally everywhere that you go, outside your hotel, in your hotel, everywhere you go, the grocery store, there are offerings everywhere, and you're going to want to know what these offerings are about. Like, why are there these little they're kind of like little baskets, handmade baskets, made of banana leaves. But you're going to want to know why they exist and what the significance of them is. And so we did an offering making towards the end of our trip. And it's just really more, I think, impactful if we learn about that towards the beginning of our trip. So we'll do that and some dance lessons, official dance lessons. We will also experience a purification ceremony. So we'll get to go into the water and wear the traditional garb, as you can see. Literally, this is one of our attendees here during the purification ceremony. And then we will, we're going back to the Ubud Palace, we're staying not too far away from there. So we are going to Ubud Palace to walk around, experience that, and enjoy the market at our leisure. Day 4 will be breakfast, and then an afternoon to explore. with optional activities. One of those optional activities that almost everybody in the group opted for this time around is you might have seen like on Instagram or Facebook, people taking these pictures on swings. It's really not an expensive thing. It might cost like $50. You can literally spend all day there. The people who work there will put you on these swings. They'll take the pictures for you. It's a lot of waiting in line, but it's kind of like a once in a lifetime experience where, you have some pretty remarkable pictures to take home with you. So that's one of the optional experience that was pretty popular. Day 5, we're going to transfer to Seminyak, which is like a beach area, and we're going to stay in a private villa. We will get settled, and then we'll do a group dinner in that area together, which is included. Then we'll have free time to explore, and then just some optional activities like this area is like it's popular for its beach. It's beach clubs. Their beach clubs are literally open all day, and then they like literally turn into a nightclub during the day. Like families can be there with their kids, but at night, like they do fireworks. It's a whole production. On day 6, we'll have breakfast, then we're actually gonna go to the zoo and have fun with the elephants. We're gonna bathe them. We're going to swim with them if we want. We're even gonna literally lay on them and take pictures like this. Don't worry, they are well taken care of. I vetted this. And we get to feed them too. It's pretty cool. If you want, you can go. We did a reptile and a bird part. And this was actually my roommate Yvette in Bali with, I guess, an iguana, or I don't know all of the names of the reptiles, but that's some type of reptile on her head. Correct me if I'm wrong. Day 7, we will have beachfront yoga. Then we'll do a market visit and a traditional cooking class. And you guys probably like food. Day 8, you have to go to a temple if you're in Bali. So we will be spending some time exploring some temples and getting a guided tour and some education on the significance of that. And then another free night to explore with optional activities. So quite a few people got tattoos in Bali, so if that's your jam, they're very easily accessible in this area. Kind of like one of the coolest souvenirs you can come back with if they do it right. But everybody's pretty happy with how theirs came out. And then unfortunately, we're gonna have to say our goodbyes and after breakfast with another airport transport. We've already been through this case, so we'll just skip it for now. You can read it at your leisure. But Bali is a little bit more affordable than going to Europe, believe it or not. It just takes more time and it's a little bit more pricey to get there initially. For a double occupancy room, and again, these are like 5-star hotels and a luxury villa, it starts at $3,200. For single occupancy, it starts at $4,300. And then this is what the pricing would look like if you were to sign up like this month. Okay, and then last but not least, I've been missing this slide because we had to wait until the entire presentation was over. So we'd just like to give a wrap up. Thank everyone for their time and spending part of their weekend with me, learning about Lesbifriends. Even if you can't make it on one of the trips that are listed here, just please be on the lookout for other trips. We would love to have you at an event, at a trip this year. We still have 2 left, Thailand and Belize. But also all of the upcoming trips next year, we have at least 12, and there might be a couple more. There are also at least 2 domestic trips next year. So if you don't want to go to Bali, I completely understand, try us out at our summer queer camp that we're having in July, which is not released yet, but it will be very soon. And then just as a special thank you for spending your part of your time. We haven't released this to the public yet, but we are having a fall special through the end of October. It will save you $300 off a trip with the discount code fall300. And I will email you that discount code when I email you the link to the wrap up. Okay. Whew. All right, I lost Janice. I know she was on here from the start. Sorry, Janice. I'm long-winded. I'll try to be concise, guys. It's just really hard. Lots of information. Okay. Any questions? I know we're like down to the wire. We got like 1 minute. Okay, that's okay. I'm okay. Maybe I did my job, if there are no questions. By all means, Marie and Tony and anybody else watching this, if you do have any questions, I'm pretty accessible. I prefer email because it's easier to, you know, respond with a full keyboard. Yes, I'll answer your question. But also text messages, really, I'm pretty accessible via text message, or just pick up the phone and call. The number will be in the email signature line. Okay, so Marie asked, is there anything with
I
current?
phrased it weird. Sorry.
No,
If I need
no.
to change to the local currency, that happens at the airport, I imagine.
Yes, so a great question. So you would get more information about this during like a specific trip information session. I do go into detail, but I'm happy to share it here. So I always recommend people to carry small denominations of dollars, like or wherever you're from, but typically like most of us are going to be traveling from the United States. So I would have at least 21s on me when traveling, because even if that's not their, even if that's not the currency they use, they'll still accept dollars. Like they can easily trade those in. However, when I get to a country, I like to go to the ATM at an airport. If it's up and running, sometimes the airports, their ATMs are out of money or they're just not working. So, but that's my first stop. I stop at an ATM at an airport and take out that local currency. You do have to sometimes notify your banks in advance. But now with technology, most places they don't make you do that. So they just figure if you're gonna be traveling. But I still like to call because I don't want no problems. And I don't want to have to pay to call my local bank either. So I start at the ATM. Also, sometimes I'll order money through my bank. So I bank with Bank of America. And there are other banks that offer this, but with Bank of America in particular, I can go on the app and easily order a lot of different countries' foreign currency and have it either mailed to me if it's over a specific denomination, or I can have it shipped to the local bank and I pick it up. So that's also something I'll do ahead of time. At least maybe like $50, $100 worth of their currency, and typically you'll get a better exchange rate that way. You can also just bring like a couple $100 and go to a money exchange at an airport in that country or even in the States, but you're not going to get the best exchange rate. The best exchange rates you're going to get are at a bank, either in that country, through the ATM in that country, or sometimes when you do the bank ordering ahead of time through a local bank. Did I answer that question? Here. Okay, I'm gonna assume yes, Marie. Okay, that's all I got for that. And I don't think you have any questions, Tony, not that I can see. So thank you for being a part of the call.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, next 4 trips are, I think, October 3rd. Even if you don't want to go on those, you know, even if you can't make it, just sign up for the info session and I'll send you the video. Also, if there's something else you need to talk about in info session, I'm happy to. It's more of an overview of the trips, but I can get into something really particular again, if that's your jam.
Okay.
All right. Thank you both for being here. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Thank you. You too, Lisa. Ciao.
Bye, Marie. Bye, Tony.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
I was late, but I've been keeping up.
No,
And
you're fine. And I'll email you the whole presentation.
thank you.
Okay, have a great afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.